and welcome back to another episode of the Coding Break. So on today's Coding Break topic or Coding Break conversation, I want to talk about credentials. Is it too many, or when is it too many, and should we get all of these credentials? So I was having a conversation with another leader, and per the conversation, it was suggested that this particular leader secure additional credentials in order to remain in the leadership role. So the leader asked my thoughts on it. And so, of course, if you know me, I don't believe in having a bunch of credentials, especially coding credentials that you're not using just for the sake of saying you have them, right? So I shared with this individual that it is not necessary to have a bunch of coding credentials, especially if you're not interested in getting them, right? It's not something you desire to do as far as like the specialty or whatever that particular credential is, lies within, or the area. And also I informed this individual that I know many of leaders with a lot of leadership or credentials that aren't leadership material. And then I also know someone with just a high school diploma who's great at being a leader. So it really depends on where you lie within those two spectrums. But I want to dig further into coding credentials. How many is needed and how many is too much? So back in, I'm going to say maybe 2018, 2019, I wrote a blog post about overdoing it with the credentials. And I was saying sometimes we put the cart before the horse, as in we get a credential and we get another credential and we get another credential, and we have yet to have practice or any type of form of experience in that particular area that we're getting our coding credential in. And not to say that you won't get it in the future, but it's to say that you're getting it and you have no idea why you're getting it. You're just getting it just so you can stand out, whatever. So fast forward to LinkedIn. Now, LinkedIn has changed over the years. I've been on LinkedIn for a very, very long time. I mean, I'm not on there like strolling or whatever, but it has changed a lot. I call it the Facebook or the Instagram of business professionals, right? So I noticed that every other day, someone or someones are constantly getting credentials. And I was like, why are they getting all of these credentials? Because the person is very good at what they do. They are very professional. So why are they getting all these credentials, right? And so, which brings me to this, like, again, back to the point of the conversation I was having with this female leader. Like, you don't have to get all of these credentials. Are you getting it because you're trying to stand out for an employer? Or are you getting it because you genuinely want to pursue work in that particular area? And I'm not saying, because I don't know everybody that I'm connected with on LinkedIn, or even those I'm not connected with on LinkedIn. I guess I'm speaking because I know me, and I know my past experience, and I know my future, or I'm assuming my future experience, right? I don't do things by chance. So, for example, yes, I have I have at least about 4 coding credentials, and then I have a few degrees, right? But they all work together, and I have experience in all of those areas. But there are some who will get a certification because they can't find employment with another certification. So they get another certification in hopes that they will find employment. But then if they don't find employment with that particular certification, they pursue another certification, and so on and so on. So it's a cycle of repetitiveness. Not only it seems like you're padding your resume, but I'm thinking of it from a cost perspective and time perspective. All the CEUs you're going to have to obtain and all the money you're going to have to kick out in order to maintain those credentials. I have credentials that I have to get, and I have to pay money for that, right? And every year, I'm not getting any more credentials. I am not, because I'm from the school, like, I I can show you better than I can tell you. In a sense of, I can do the work, and then you can just give me the credential because I've proven that I can do the work. Versus, let me get the credential and then I'll do the work. Because sometimes that don't work, right? Sometimes that don't work. And yeah, so I just feel like sometimes, again, we get credentials because we want to appear to be outstanding. We want to feel validated. We want to feel important. And you don't have to do that because you are enough. You are already important. You are already validated. You just have to take the time to reflect on where you are, where you're going as it relates to your career path. You don't have to do all these things. You don't have to do what you see other people doing. Your gifts are different and unique from the next person. You can do what you do. You can do what you do and be fine. But I think because we're not taking the time to reflect on where we are, where we came from, and we're truly grateful for our journey. I think we're so busy focusing on other people's profiles to see where they are and what their journey is looking like, and we want that. And there's nothing wrong with being inspired, but don't let it consume you to the point that you think that you're not important enough, right? You are important. As far as like the credentials that you should get, I would say get the credentials that are really and generally required to do the work. So for example, if you want to become a coder, right, or professional coder, all you need is a CPC to do the job, right? CPC. If you want to become a biller, and it is required of you to have a certification, perhaps by your employer, get the certification in billing. And here's another thing too. If it is a requirement of your employer, ask your employer how much time will they allow for you to get it. And also ask your employer, and this is very important, are they going to pay for it? Ask your employer, are they going to pay for it? Because if they're not going to pay for it, and it's not something that you are genuinely interested in pursuing, and you're only pursuing it because it is a requirement for employment, I feel like they should pay for it. Because it's like for example, you go on a date, right? If someone invites you on a date, I mean, you're going to take your money, but I think they should pay because they invited you. Right? Yeah. So the same with the credentials and the employer. If the employer is requiring you to pursue a credential and you're already employed there, and let me put that in, if you're already employed there and you're doing a great job and they just want you to get a credential just because they want you to get a credential, and it wasn't something that you genuinely desired to get on your own, because I feel like if you desired to get on your own, you would have gotten it already, then they should be responsible for paying for it. Yeah, they should be responsible for paying for it. They should be responsible for your continuing education, like fees, your membership fees, all of that, or they at least should be offering up some continuing education credits because you pursued that for them. So I say all that. Stop overdoing it in the certifications. And I know this is like a nail in my coffin as a coding coach or coding instructor, a coding business entrepreneur, to say this: get the credentials that are specific to what you need, and not because you want to look outstanding, that you want to look important. Remember, you are already important. You are already outstanding, and you having a credential doesn't make you any more important or any less of importance to yourself or to any other person. So that's all that I have for this coding break. So until next time, code on.